What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T-Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So what a week this has been. The big news at the macro level was, of course, mega cap tech earnings, right? So a lot was writing on this. And in my last video, I told you that how Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta performed would determine if we stabilize the downtrend or crash even lower. It was a strong showing all around, and each of these companies are not only up this week, but overall outperforming the SP 500. That's the red line that you see at the bottom there. Meta takes the cake at nearly 100% return year to date and a solid 12.88% this week alone. Add to that the PCE metric for inflation also showed a favorable deceleration, and you can see why things stabilized and trended back up as we close out the week. Now, with that said, the main topic I want to talk about, and the reason why you're all here, is because Virgin Galactic has completed its much anticipated glide flight. This is massive, especially when you consider that we are only 10 days away from the earnings call to be held on May 9th. So in today's video, I'll go over the details from the glide flight and its relevance on the overall commercial launch timeline. There's some nice live footage that I'll share with you, and I'll leave with some closing thoughts on price action and what I think comes next. As always, this is not to be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and the thought process behind it. I'd recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on any pertinent information I'll be sharing. Drop this video an early like if you haven't already, and smash that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so let's quick ground ourselves. In order for Virgin Galactic to restart commercial flight, here is the cadence of items they had to complete. VMS Eve carrier plane ground testing, check. VMS Eve carrier plane solo test flight, also check. VMS Eve flight back to Spaceport America to be reunited to VSS Unity, check as well. And the glide flight with both VMS Eve and VSS Unity that they just now completed. For those who may not know, the purpose of the glide flight was to evaluate the performance of the spaceship in the glide phase of flight post the enhancement period. They of course wanted to ensure that all the controls worked as intended, but also gather data on a new mothership quick disconnect system or pylon as the spaceship climbed to the release point. Let's watch this quick 1-minute clip recap of the glide flight.
30 seconds. So we've been sitting under the mothership for the best part of an hour. We've climbed up to 45,000 feet and we're getting ready for launch. And it's like being on an airliner, you can hear that background noise from the engines. Power need is off, stick forward, thumb up trim, CSS. Check. The pilots are doing checks up front, and then it'll be 20, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, release, release, release. 3, 2, 1, release, release, release. Just for a few seconds, those engines have all disappeared. The mothership has sprung up and away, and so is complete silence. What I love about Unity is she is a delight to fly, and she's a beautiful glider, and we are able to execute a beautiful runway landing in her.
Everything about this clip is what we wanted to see, right? It was smooth and appears to have been a very successful flight. This then brings us to what comes next. They detailed it out nicely in their press release, so let's read it, and I quote, "Today's successful glide flight closes out the final validation test point. In addition to data gathered in a mated configuration flight last week, the data collected today will be analyzed over the coming weeks. Pending data analysis, this will clear our vehicle to return to space flight." And that is important to note, right? The next mission will be a rocket-powered space flight. The flight will carry 2 pilots and 4 Virgin Galactic mission specialists in the cabin to assess the customer experience and ground-based training prior to the launch of commercial service expected in Q2. End of quote. It hardly gets any better than this. I mean, this is massive news, right? We obviously need confirmation that the data supports how well the glide flight seems to have gone, but it's looking pretty solid at this point. And Virgin Galactic, most importantly, still expects to launch commercial flight this quarter. And I cannot stress that enough. Assuming all goes as expected, we could see the rocket power test flight by the earning call on May 9th or shortly thereafter. This then leaves us with only completing the Italian Air Force flight in late May, early June. And so it is looking more and more like Virgin Galactic will pull this off with civilians at the edge of space by the end of June. Man, that is going to be pretty epic. The crazy part is, I don't think the analysts or market participants overall are actually ready for this, right? And the main reason for that last statement is, as you look at the current price projections, there's no buy rating recommendations, right? The median price target still implies further downside with a loss of 6.04% from current levels. And the best case scenario over the next 12 months doesn't even see us going past $6. But as I've said before, Virgin Galactic has used up most of its good grace because of the multiple setbacks and delays over the years. And so at this point, no one on Wall Street covering the stock expect they will actually meet the current timeline. And there lies the opportunity. Earlier this week, they also announced some changes to their board of directors. I'll link up the press release in the description below. But to summarize, they have a couple of board directors retiring, and as a result, they have appointed replacements. This is not something that you would do if you're not planning to stay in business, right? The reality is, Virgin Galactic has the necessary funding to get commercial operations started and fund the fleet expansion over the next couple of years, right? Their execution over the last year has been on point, and they've hit every single milestone so far. It's a bit too early to declare victory, and of course, this is still a very speculative stock. But in the absence of further delays, which at this point, again, has not been communicated, all I see is incredible upside in the medium and long term. I haven't bought more shares, if I'm being honest, since the last video because I want to hear what their forward guidance will be during the earning call. I'm expecting a date or at least a target window for official commercial launch, right? Also at this point, I personally have accumulated enough shares to execute on my personal strategy, so there is absolutely zero FOMO on my end should the stock skyrocket suddenly. The bottom line is this: we did get the technical bounce I called out in my last video, taking us out of the oversold zone, which brought us to the current level. Virgin Galactic has been consistent and steady in their execution, which leaves me no reason to believe they don't pull this off. That said, it's a bit too early to get overly optimistic, right? You got to keep that in mind. We still have a couple of gating items to get through, but you can see hints that others are starting to turn a bit more bullish and sniffing out the opportunity I've been beating the drum on through this entire bear market. It takes research to gain conviction into the vision, which ultimately allows one to pull the trigger to buy and hold while others are fearful and selling. Price action around commercial launch will be dependent on many factors, most notably what is going on at the macro level. Inflation has been moving in the right direction, and the Fed is likely to announce a pause after the expected 0.25 percentage point increase in May. And so good news at the macro level with the ending rate increases, plus inflation continuing to drop, plus positive news at the micro level from Virgin Galactic delivering on a successful commercial on-time start of operation. Yeah, this could be a winning recipe for an easy double up from current levels. I'm personally ready for that, but the real question is, are you ready? But on that note, that is it for me today. If you found value in my content, click that like button and share with others who you think could benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe, it's free. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can stay in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video. Till then, you can keep up with me here on Twitter for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching, stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.